It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day and Walkabout Wednesday on Thursday in my San Diego, Chula Vista backyard succulent garden. Those of you that follow closely know that Greg and Hannah and I just came back from 2.5 weeks up at our Northern California property. We got in late last night. It was dark, so wasn't able to make the Wednesday. But hey, Thursday's good. I'm super excited to show you how the garden looks. Now here in Chula Vista, it is the end of May. Everything is so gorgeous right now. Both my succulents and my perennials are putting on a veritable show. So without further ado, let's take a look and see how things fared in my absence. Okay, the gutters. Gutters are looking good. This little Echeveria has got, there's some grooming that needs to be done. When your succulents start to drop leaves at the bottom or the underside of the plant, or they turn brown, not a problem. Just pick them off. No big deal. What you're focused on is the growth here in the center. If that looks healthy, then you have no problems. This is just normal deciduation. Now you can see dirt. Oh dear. I don't know why. I don't know. Get in here, Greg. Look at all this dirt. I don't understand what's happening. I'm pretty sure that when I left these gutters, they were packed tight. So what you can do to fix that, if you're like me and you don't like seeing dirt, is, do a little deep dive in your garden and look around and see if something doesn't need a little trimming. I have Graptopedilum ghosties for days in my grapefruit pot. And I can take a few of these out of here and pop them in the holes as cuttings. It is a great time of the year to do that. And remember, those are the gutters over there too that get, quite a bit of protection and shade most of the day. And while we're right here, my pink Ice Bougainvillea is starting to pop. Loving that. And before I digress further with these ghosties, wanted to point out also this Aeonium Kiwi. See this giant bloom spike, and look at the little bumblebee right there. So I let this go, as much as I don't like things to not look good. I want to make sure that the bees have ample opportunity to take advantage of that bloom. But when it's done, you can see that this, where this used to be tight and compact in here, with the kiwis now, they're kind of stemmy and leggy. So maybe in next week's Walkabout, we'll pull those kiwis out, remove the blooms, and reset those so they look nice and tight and compact. On this side of the arrangement, see how tight it is? It looks like a puzzle that was put together, doesn't it? It's so stunning. And this is kind of the gold standard and the look that I go for in all of my arrangements. Okay, I digress. Here, look. All right, so in those gaps, I hate to drop this, but I'm just going to put my little detritus right there. I'll try to remember it. We'll just scratch up the surface a little bit of soil. Make sure it's soft, and then, just like candles on a birthday cake, you just pop cuttings into those gaps until your heart is content. That's interesting. See, here, these are the same plant. And yet this one looks a little smaller. The leaves are a little smaller. It's a little different color. It looks a little stressed. That's because Mom has put all of her energy into this bloom spike here. Thus the difference. But this is not a monocarpic plant, so we just trim that bloom off when we're done with it, and she continues to thrive. So yes, that's how I fill in the gaps, especially if company's coming, right? You don't have time to really go all out, so you just stick dirty dishes in the oven. Kind of the same philosophy. And lo and behold, great news, our little mystery euphorbia that Hannah left in her apartment bathroom for like 6 months and it nearly died is making a glorious comeback. Look at, Greg, if you get up close on this, you can see all of this brand new growth. So I've been very, very careful to, restrict water. Look at this stem. It's very turgid. It's very thick. There's plenty of water, moisture, and nutrients in that trunk and stem. So there's plenty of material to throw off and push the new growth. If I overwater this, I would run the risk of rotting it. And this Euphorbia millii is just living its best life. I mean, everywhere I move it, it just gets better. Isn't that stunning? God, what a gorgeous specimen. Look at that crest. I got the whale's tail going there. Look at that. Isn't that so stunning? With all those leaves and the little flower on it. Just the most beautiful. It's just some project leftover. I don't even really know the story, but I really am enjoying this a lot. We were up in Tustin yesterday stopping at the deer's residence. Many of you remember that giant 3-part installation. We were visiting. It looks absolutely amazing. If you're interested in seeing some photos, check out my story on Instagram at Laura Loves Succulents. Also, head on over there for everyday stuff, for photos, behind the scenes, that sort of thing. Love to see you on Instagram. I suggested that he plant a pink jasmine. He has installed a really beautiful trellis, and he wants a fast-growing vine. And girl, I don't know of a faster growing vine than pink jasmine. This one isn't hardy, so for those of you in zones 8 and lower, sorry. But for those of you in 8 and higher and you're looking for fast coverage, remember this used to be an arbor here over Bentley's toilet, but I went cheap and it broke and rusted and it was a piece of crap. And I haven't replaced it yet, so I've just left this in the pot and I just keep literally taking a whip and a chair and hacking away at it. We can stand here. It's probably grown since I started talking about it. But anywho, so pink jasmine, that's a really good one. This trigona, purpura, is maintaining its beautiful purple color despite the fact that it gets a lot of shade. I wasn't sure about it there, but it seems quite happy. Oh my gosh, all of my little collectibles. Look at my little living stone is flowering. And this gasteria has got the most interesting flowers on it. And these have lasted a long time. This looked like this when I left for the ranch. The little Morganianum is flowering. This platyphylla, this is a crassula. It's been in here for at least 3 years, and you can see the little flowers that are coming on it. They're kind of cute, so I'm going to let this ride till it's done, and then I'm going to pull this out and put something else in here because this is not making me happy. It looks rough. No bueno. Okay. Sea dragon, same thing. See all these leaves? This was me being gone for 2.5 weeks. All these, dead leaves. It's very gratifying to pull those off. So at any point in time, you want to do that, knock yourself out. You're not going to hurt the plant. Also, I wanted to take a moment to thank you all for your support, for your subscriptions, for liking the videos and all of your wonderful comments. It's so great when we go away for a period of time to feel like I'm still in touch by reading your comments. Also, for those of you that have joined the channel, that are supporting me financially with your monthly contributions, I can't thank you enough for that. That's what makes it possible for me to go up to the ranch and recharge and take a couple of weeks away. Knowing that I have that support means everything. So if I have helped you in some way and you benefit from these videos, I hope you'll consider joining. Thank you. And I knew it. The gay eye is gay-eyeing. Look at that. Look at those leaves. Remember, this was out in the front in the courtyard, and it was in that pot, and it was so unhappy, and it was just pouting and doing absolutely nothing. In the 2.5 weeks since I planted it in the ground, it's already starting to throw off leaves. So that makes me as happy as a clam. Also, about a year ago, the Brugmansia, remember the disaster? I came out one morning and the branch had cracked and the whole thing fell into the pond. So I had to cut it back to a nub. Well, look at that. 1 year later, you'd never know it. So I wasn't worried about it then. And I'm going to enjoy this so much. It's just really getting ready to take off. All of my aloes, the nobilis, are getting ready to bloom. That's such a really, really pretty flower. And look, I've got a Calendrinia Spectoballus. This is Greg's favorite. And I don't know how, I didn't plant it. I think this plant's kind of a hot mess. It has a tendency to get woody and kind of rangy, so I don't work with it. So I don't know why it's here. But it's very, very beautiful and getting ready to throw off a flower. So that's super exciting. My bougainvillea looks great. All of the things that I planted against the prison wall are really flourishing. I can't wait for those things to get taller and cover that wall completely, because I'd like to kind of keep the bougainvillea blooms more along the top of the wall and have the plants at the base meet them. My Aleuaudia procera has just been weird. It flushed out in leaves before I left, and then all of them fell off, and now it's got all kinds of new baby green leaves all over it. So I think that was probably inconsistent irrigation that caused it to drop its leaves and then reset. Oh, our little propagates. I threw some leaves in a can before I left, and I said we'd check on those when I got back. So you can see I've got little babies. See the little hair roots there? So as long as Mom has still got, you know, water in her leaves and the mama leaf isn't desiccating, I'm going to let those continue to thrive and grow. Now here is some stem props. This is Aphred Ives, Graptopetalum, and look at the stem. See how it's starting to desiccate? So at some point, you know, this stem is going to give its all to these little plantlets. There's not really much of a root system at all there. So I wanted to leave these on the stem as long as possible before transplanting to give them the best chance. But at some point I am going to have to take them off as the stem is about to croak. And then this stem, this is another ghosty. Remember how you all got after me about throwing stems away? So I wanted to check and see, you know, what would happen if I left the stem. And I got a couple of little babies on there, so you know, I'll let that ride and we'll see. Here's some tiny little thing coming there, a couple little babies there. I'll move these back to the shade. I just put them out here on the bench for the sake of demonstration. Well, the elephant in the room, my Eden climbers. I promised. Remember, they were just about to go off before we left for the ranch, and I was so disappointed because I was going to miss it. Well, I didn't, and neither did you. This is just the first flush. Aren't these so stunning? Oh my goodness. They don't have a whole lot of fragrance, but they're just the most gorgeous, romantic rose. They're my absolute favorite. And I will have, you know, these roses will just be covering this fence for the next month probably. So I'll give bouquets to everybody I know and enjoy them myself. The way I keep these roses against the fence in true Laura fashion, you know, I'm a guerrilla gardener. So I take a branch, I take a staple gun, bam, against the fence. So I have literally stapled the branches to the fence. And that is how I keep it upright and, you know, from falling over. Look at the weight of the roses is covering up the Pilosoceras. That's funny, but that's okay. We'll let that ride. The lemon tree is looking okay. You all gave me some really good advice on, you know, how to take care of this. And I agree with you. I think that probably was lacking in some micronutrition. So I'm working with some organic supplementation to see if I can't get something going with this lemon tree. And it is looking better. Many of you ask also what happened to the imbricata, the Echeveria imbricata. Remember, it was planted in the Gaii pot. Well, I moved it down here under the raised bed. I thought this would be a really great spot for it. because it's getting full sun right now, but it's also very late in the afternoon. This is basically shaded all day. And look at that beautiful pup. This is a hen and chick, so it's natural, you know, for the mom to throw off lots of babies. And the idea with this plant is to let that ride. And my goal in time is for this to spread all around in here and just be this gorgeous giant clump o imbricata. Let's see. The sunburst Aeonium crest is still looking absolutely fantastic. Everything in my little raised bed that I did a couple years ago is looking fantastic. This little agave attenuata variegata is really starting to get its legs, and at some point I'll have to move this because obviously it's going to get too big, but that's okay. That's a good problem to have. I went ahead and threw some things in the ground over here today. I was just so tired of looking at this mess. So, you know, whatever. I know I had talked about doing a dedicated cactus garden over here. I talked about maybe even making this home to the master class. This little section of garden has been through more iterations than I can throw a stick at over the years. But right now, what inspired me was this aloe. I believe this is tangerine. I'll let you know. We'll see in Walkabout Wednesday in the next week or so how this does, what color it is when it opens up. But this was just kind of a semi-rooted, basically a cutting that was just laying down over here on the ground. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to put that in. So I already had the Perry eye. Yeah, so I threw in a blue, you know, a blue glow, a cactus, a Reginae, a Plicatillus, the mystery aloe over there next to the crazy chicken. And then I've got another mystery aloe in a pot right here. I'm not sure what this is going to do. So that'll be interesting. And then these are a few little project leftovers for the next job. So we will be in Lakeside doing a xeriscape a week after next. And then in University City doing a succulent coral reef. So, I mean, opposite ends of the spectrum. Next week is going to be maintenance, catching up with clients, putting out fires. I will be doing videos. We'll be doing something every day. I missed you guys so much. So, we also are working on rolling out some new merch in the shop. So keep your eyes open for that. I think you're going to be really happy and very excited with our offerings. Gosh, anything, Greg? Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm so happy to be back. So eager to get back to work. I hope you've enjoyed this stroll through the garden. And again, thank you guys so much for everything. You mean the world to us. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with Walkabout Wednesday on Thursday and your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.